My thing is, if you're gonna have a period for about 40 years every month, you might as well try it. I don't know about you, but I was not educated on my body as a young girl, even as a young woman. I did not learn it in school. I did not even learning through my mom. I am still actively learning, and at this point, I've been menstruating for half of my life. So, what is cycle syncing? Simply put, cycle syncing is a system that allows you to flow with your menstrual cycle. You adapt your lifestyle to the phase of your cycle. Really, it's about working with your body instead of against it. At the end of the day, I'm sorry to break it to you, but you're going to menstruate, so you might as well look for the beauty in it. There's beauty in it. I promise. There's beauty in it. Okay, so let's make sure we have the basics on lock. Typically, a menstrual cycle is 28 days, but it still is considered a healthy cycle within 21 and 35 days. But if you find yourself out of this range, I would advise you reach out to a professional to make sure everything is okay. So the menstrual cycle, it has 4 phases where 2 hormones fluctuate: progesterone, estrogen. So first you have the menstrual phase when you're bleeding, like your actual period. Then you have the follicular phase, basically pre-releasing the egg, and then ovulation where you're releasing the egg. And finally you have the luteal phase where the egg has been released. I like to think about cycle syncing as seasons, and that makes all the sense. Like starting from winter, ending in autumn, makes all the sense. First of all, a disclaimer. As of today, there is little research on cycle syncing as a effective health tool. I've talked to a gynecologist and I've asked her about, if she would advise to eat certain foods, and she was not too sure. She was like, just listen to your body, which is the point of cycle syncing at the end of the day. But I just want to make that clear. I'm just a girl sharing the benefits that I have observed in my body for the past 2 years. And if you don't already have a professional like a OBGYN or gynecologist with you, I highly advise. I feel like every woman should have access to a professional that truly cares and that truly listens. Let's start with the menstruation phase. This is the winter. I don't know about you, but in the winter time, I want to be home. I want to get cozied up under my blankets, watch a show. This could last between 1 to 7 days, depending. This is when the estrogen hormone is slowly rising, but progesterone is at its lowest. At this point of my cycle, I feel pretty tired. I feel kind of sensitive. I'm like in my head a lot, and I tend to limit going out for several hours at a time. Like if I have to run errands, I'm trying not to overpack my schedule. This is when I'm craving warm, starchy food. Like wintertime, you want the teas, you want to have like potatoes, like the soups, anything like the comfort food. That's what you want to eat at that point. Literally, your body is craving that. That's the other thing with cycle syncing. Whatever you feel like eating is not out of nowhere. I mean, unless you have trained your body to eat a certain way. But I think it's a good way to be intuitive, like intuitive eating. This is also a phase of my cycle where I'm bloating a bit, so I like to drink lots of water. For my bowel movements, if you know what I mean, I like to take sene, which is like just an herb, but also I get a lot of fiber, so fruits, oats, things like that. When it comes to fitness, you will most likely be very tired. I know the first 3 days, like the gym is not seeing me, okay? Like I'm at the crib. But what I would do is maybe stretch. I like to stretch constantly, but also maybe go for a walk again to get that bowel movement. But really, I think anything low impact, like yoga, I don't know, like very low impact yoga, because yoga can get intense. When it comes to work, I'm fortunate to be able to work from home anyway. So I try to be, the most gentle. I understand my energy levels are very low. So I really take it easy, to be honest. But in cycle syncing, the winter time is a good time to be more into reviewing or like analytical work, because you tend to be in your head a lot, like you're in your head, you're at home, so you might as well put that to use and do more reviewing type of work. That's one of the times where I'm the most sensitive, like very introspective. I'm not so much moody, but I'm kind of like, okay, let me be with myself. That's that season for me. Okay, and now we're in spring. So this is the follicular phase. And this is when I'm typically back at the gym around day 5, 6, where I feel like, okay, I can do weight training, Pilates. This is that time. It's like, life is not so bad after all. It's so dramatic, I swear. Like when I'm PMSing, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I don't want to be here. Like maybe this is not worth it. And when it comes to lifestyle, typically this is a week. So my friend may know that, but like I tend to be very socialized 1 week at a time. And oftentimes when it's the springtime, this is when I'm like scheduling drinks, restaurants, like outings with friends, because I know this week I'm my most happy or just like energetic and outgoing. This is also the time where my skin is clearing out. If you're dealing with hormonal acne, this is the time where your skin is starting to glow more, starting to get healthier. So it just makes sense. Like your body is literally telling you, put me in the streets. I'm trying to go outside. I'm trying to see people. So I'm doing exactly that. Okay, now the summer of your menstrual cycle. This is the third phase, the ovulation. Everyone knows that. You're literally the most fertile at that point. But actually for me, this is the shortest phase. I think this phase only lasts for 4 days or 5 days. So like the peak of the menstrual cycle, when you're like the most like beautiful and stuff and you feel good about yourself, is the shortest for me. Whatever. I feel like my autumn lasts for 2 weeks, but we'll get into autumn later. Here your estrogen is peaking, so is your testosterone, because as women we also have testosterone. I feel like this is the perfect time for me to really do intense workouts. I don't know if you're into HIIT workouts or you're into cardio. Technically the perfect time for you to go all out. You're ovulating, so you feel like a baddie. You feel like, hey, like, where they at though? Where they? Your libido's high. You feel good inside, so you look good. It's summertime. You feel more festive, more social, more outward. So when it comes to food, I like to go for fresh foods. I love fruits in the summertime, and I do this exact same thing in my summer phase where I eat salads. Keep it light and healthy. This is the perfect time for productivity. So if you have big projects, if you know you have to clean your entire home, maybe schedule that in that phase. There's a lot of clarity. You feel very efficient. But I will say it again, everything that I just said, those are indicative. If you feel bloated when you're ovulating and you still feel tired, that's okay. That's normal. That does not mean that your cycle is messed up. It just means that we're different, okay? So if you feel like resting or eating, starchy foods and stuff, do that. Make sure you honor your body at all times. I think this is the thing about cycle syncing. At the end of the day, it's about learning your body and flowing with it. And finally, autumn, the final phase of your menstrual cycle. This is the luteal phase that can last between like 19, 20 to 28 days or more. This is also known as the PMS phase. It's so funny because when I was younger, my understanding was that when you were bleeding, this is when in the media they portray women as being like so aggressive and moody, and like I think they associated that with the bleeding phase, but actually the PMS phase is that phase for me. Like, baby, stay away. I say that, but this is also the phase where I need like community. Like I need hugs, I need cuddles. So I'm starting to feel a bit more sensitive, maybe less pretty. You start to break out, or you're not as strong in the gym. You're most likely having a increased appetite, mood swings, like you feel down, a bit tired. From the ovulation to the luteal phase, the progesterone actually drops pretty dramatically, which explains the tiredness. My priority across the whole cycle is my stress levels, but especially in that phase, I try to be soft with myself and be very gracious and not overload my schedule or overcommit for like social events. I know that I can get easily overwhelmed, and my priority is to keep saying and like to keep my energy for myself, to be honest, like selfishly. I mean, if it's somebody's birthday, you know, I'm not gonna be like, can you move that to my ovulation week? I'm not gonna do that, obviously. I try to do like more maintenance work, things that I don't have to put too much like intellect juice in, more repetitive tasks or things that I've done before if I can. So for fitness, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I do nothing because that's the time where I'm kind of bloated. I would just do at home Pilates or stretches, or even just a walk, like maybe increase my walking to make sure the bowel movements are going, because you will feel congested, bloated, blocked out, like everything is a mess. So that was cycle syncing. I will make sure to leave articles in the description if you want to read more into it. Again, keep in mind this is not scientifically proven to have an effect on your hormonal health, but I can only vouch for myself. I feel more in tune with my body and life in general. So for the must-haves, you need a period tracker. There are many apps. I'm using the app Flow, but you don't have to use an app. If you don't want to, you could use just pen and paper, just document your day-to-day, how you feel. So why did I start cycle syncing? I picked up on cycle syncing kind of on accident, like a happy accident. I stopped working a corporate job about 2 years ago, and when I started owning my time, I realized, oh, this is actually my sleep schedule, or this is when I feel rested and I actually wake up normally. Oh, I don't have to eat at the cafeteria. I can eat my food. Like it kind of happened like that. Not having hard schedules or hard deadlines made me really take ownership of my time and how I allocate it. I'm sure a lot of women will relate, but for me, working a very inflexible 9 to 5, I felt like I was playing a role. Our society is built on a men-centric model where, men, they have a 24-hour cycle. Like they go to work, they sleep, and then they feel the same again. But as a woman, I don't feel the same on week A than I do on week B. I think we kind of suppress that when we get into these jobs. Basically, this new lifestyle made me pay more attention to my body and listen to it more. And then I found out about cycle syncing, that it was an actual system that you could put in place to flow with your body. And I really paid attention to the types of food I felt called to eat, or my intuition, or like just my energy levels. And it's one of those things where like once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Like once you know parts of you, you turn the switch on and you cannot like turn it off anymore. You cannot turn a blind eye to it. I've been cycle syncing for 2 years now, and I've never felt more at home in my body. I have much more appreciation for my body as a woman. I have more grace for myself, my changing moods, my cravings, my energy levels. It's about awareness and then accepting it, and then you can celebrate it. So I'm dealing with chronic pain. I also have ADHD. So cycle syncing was a way to mitigate those symptoms, from inflammation to brain fog to dopamine to this is another video, but basically this came from a more holistic approach, and really just stop living life on hard mode when I don't have to. You don't have to suffer. Do you know your periods are not supposed to be painful? Like you're supposed to have cramps, whatever, but you're not supposed to be like on the footsteps of death. Like no. If you are dealing with PMDD or PCOS or endometriosis, talk to your health professional first. At the end of the day, this is a system, this is a framework, but start by studying you. Literally. Start by spending time with you. Start by being more introspective. Document how you feel physically, mentally, emotionally, from your mood to your energy levels, to your creativity, to your sexual drive, to the types of food you like to eat, or document it. Every data is good data. as long as it makes sense to you and your lifestyle. Your body will tell you what to do. That's the thing about the human body. It is very smart. And really, once you get a better understanding of your system, like, yeah, you can systemize it into your own cycle syncing method. I wish you the best of luck on this journey. I am so happy to share that today. I really want to hear back from you, and that just makes me so happy. Oh my god, this is not my typical content, but I feel so called to share this. Cycle syncing really changed my life, my relationship to my body, and I think that's huge as a woman in the world we live in. And I really hope that that helps you in any way, shape, or form, or that inspires you to just be more attentive to your body. Another thing I would say is that, of course, I know not everybody has the same agency or freedom to apply those systems in their lives. You know, we have jobs, we have bills to pay. Some of you have kids, some of you are just living busy lives. But I truly encourage you to prioritize your health as much as you can, right? Because all that other shit you cannot do if you're not good inside, right? So I know I'm very lucky and privileged to be able to work from home and own my time and go to the gym when I want and pay for healthy food. But I think there's always a way for you to take what resonates with you and apply it to your life. This is not a one size fits all. Yeah, that's it. Bye.